Hello to everybody. I'm really sorry not to be there with you today. My name is Stefano Kluzer and I come from IPTS, from the European Commission. Briefly, let me introduce what IPTS is. We are the Institute for Prospective Technological Studies. It's one of the 7 research institutes of the Joint Research Center. And we're based in Seville, a very nice city in the south of Spain. We mainly work for other Directorate Generals of the European Commission, doing research on new technologies and their socioeconomic impact, usually with a future perspective, so that we can help the European Commission in using our research findings for its policy-making process. We are organized into 5 scientific units. The unit where I work is called Information Society Unit, but there are other units working on agriculture, sustainable development, climate change, and so on. We cooperate with other research actors in various ways, through joint project submission to European Commission funded programs, by organizing expert workshops, outsourcing research, and so on. We started working on ICT for cultural diversity some time ago. In my unit, we are focused on ICT from a social perspective. So we look mostly at ICT for learning and ICT for inclusion. Now, in particular, we have been looking at what is called e-inclusion, digital inclusion, which means basically 2 things: helping as many people as possible to make use of ICT and creating the condition for access and the skills conditions, but also it means using ICT to help, in particular, socially disadvantaged people. In this context, in 2006, the European ministers met in Riga and made a declaration on e-inclusion, where, among one of the priorities, they set the promotion of greater participation of immigrants and ethnic minorities in the European Information Society, to improve their economic participation, social inclusion, integration, and so on. Since this was an almost unknown area, very little researched, DG Information Society and Media asked IPTS in 2007 to start researching this field in order to understand the current situation and assess policy opportunities. It's in the context of this work that at a certain point we identified the use of ICT for second language education, the learning to the language of the host country by migrant adults, and as an interesting opportunities. There are 2 reasons for this. One is that in our mapping exercise of initiatives on ICT for migrants around Europe, we identified a number of cases which dealt with ICT for second language education. And in particular, last year, in December, more or less at the same time, in Vienna, at the first e-inclusion conference, we met a company from the Netherlands, ITPreneurs, who was doing a very interesting activity in this area. So we realized that the opportunities were really interesting. On the other hand, there is a process which is spreading around Europe of increasing acknowledgement that second language education and skills are very important for migrants' integration. In fact, some countries are even making this a requirement for entry, residence, access to welfare benefits, and so on. So there is a growing need for training, hopefully good quality training, but also to contain the costs of this language training. So many people increasingly are looking at ICT as an opportunity to work to address these challenges. Reflecting these needs, we decided to start a research line in this area, and we started with a workshop in early October, where we gathered about 15 experts from all around Europe and looked at 5 cases from different countries, and we envisaged a publication of these, the workshop results. But more importantly, we launched a study on 2 countries, the Netherlands and Sweden, to see how they approach, given their differences in the language policy context, the use of ICT. In the Netherlands, we are collaborating with CNOP and the University of Tilburg to carry out the study, while in Sweden, we are collaborating with the University of Gothenburg. And we plan to produce a report in 2010, by April, more or less. We are also collaborating at the moment with the Council of Europe, which is updating a survey they did a few years ago about the language requirements which are today asked to migrants in different European countries. And we introduced in the survey that they are doing in the questionnaire specific questions dealing with ICT. We chose the two countries, Sweden and the Netherlands, because they have different approaches to language and immigration policies, and we wanted to see how they deal with ICT in this domain. Our aims are to know to what extent and the variety of ICT usage in this context, which are the actors involved, how they are organized, the roles and strategies. But even more importantly, we hope that these studies will shed light on the impacts and results of using ICT in this context, not only in terms of learning more quickly, but also in terms, for instance, of acquiring digital skills or having more socialization opportunities. And we would like to understand which are the key ingredients which produce these results. In the near future, also depending on the outcomes of this, the Dutch and Swedish study, we are planning possibly different activities. In terms of research, we may extend the study to other countries in Europe. We are thinking of exploring the informal learning opportunities for the language, which can occur through the use of ICT outside of education and training context. For instance, through digital gaming or through the use of social networking services. We also want to understand, we may do some research on this, on how ICT can help overcome the language barriers, for instance, through translation and enhance visual communications. Policy-wise, we plan to open an online community on the ePractice web platform to discuss the results and the recommendations stemming from our studies. We are planning to, we hope to identify needs and opportunities for funding ICT research in this area. We hope we will promote initiatives to exchange experiences and practices across member states. And we hope also to channel these results to our colleagues in different directorate generals in the Commission, in particular the ones that deal with immigration and integration, the ones that deal with education and culture. And as I said, we will continue collaborating with the Council of Europe. This is more or less what we're doing in the area of second language education and ICT. I think I understood that you will discuss about this topic during this conference, and so I wish you a very nice and successful meeting. Thank you very much. Goodbye.